Trites Love Guru, coming to you live with the Art of Relationship show like I do every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern time. And going to be talking about pet peeves in your relationship. What drives you nuts about your partner, past partners? Also, I want to flip the script a little bit. It's easy to pick that apart, right? But I want to talk about what about pet peeves that you have that your partner, past lovers may have been, you know what, not too happy with. So pay attention, listen up. Going to have a lot of laughs today, so pay attention. We'll be right back with the Art of Relationships show talking about pet peeves. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Going to be talking about pet peeves. I want to have a little fun. Once in a while, you know, I do some serious, heartfelt shows, and I want to flip it up a little bit and have some fun with this one. Also, it may drive you nuts, and it may trigger some resentment from past relationships, maybe even your current relationships, and looking at, you know, what goes on and what happens that drives you nuts in a relationship, the pet peeves that your lover, your partner, past, present has, and what are these deal breakers for you? It's not up to me to decide. Nope, it's up to you. So are there ones that you can tolerate? It's not that bad. It's not a, you know, deal breaker at all. But it's annoying, that type of thing. Also, you know, how hard is it for you to accept maybe your partner's pet peeves for you that you do little, you know, nuances, behaviors, words, the way you talk, the way you act, that drive your partner sort of mad, batty, that type of situation. So going to have a lot of fun. And are you able to hear, you know, what your partner's pet peeves are about you? So it's not always easy, right, to hear. Do you get defensive? Do you get ticked off, pissed off? Hey, Amanda, I appreciate you showing up, and I'd love to hear from pet peeves. You can, as always, join the chat down live below. I'm going to get the call in where you can actually call me with a toll-free number. That's going to kick up in a little bit, hopefully another week or two. That's going to be solidified, and I'm going to have that all ready to go as well. Okay. And as always, it's going to be anonymous unless you give me permission to use your first name. Okay. So join in the chat down below. You know, pet peeves, you know, it could be maybe someone chews with their mouth full of food, or they should chew with their mouth full of food, right? Hold on. Maybe they talk, you know, with their mouth full of food. There we go. And, you know, does that drive you nuts? And they're I'm chomping around, and you can see their food, you know, swishing around, that type of thing. Does that drive you nuts? Or maybe you do the same thing, so it's not a big deal. You both do it. That's just us, that type of situation. So look at that. You know, what about burping, farting, that type of thing? You know, what might be, you might be joking around. I have a cousin that was proud that she would burp like a guy, you know, and would own that. And once in a while you can have a joke, you can, you know, laugh, and you can, you know, joke around. But after a while, do those become pet peeves, you know, that you chew, you know, with your, you know, you sort of talk with your mouth full of food, or you're chomping around, burping, farting, that type of situation? Those are sort of usual ones. And Amanda, you mentioned too energetic and chipper in the morning before lots of coffee. And as people know, I mention this a lot, right? I have 1 pot to a pot and a half of coffee a day. I drink it black, so it's healthy. You know, I don't put any crap in it, any additives. I drink it black. And I think I'm immune to caffeine at this point, but I agree. I used to be a morning person. A lot of people know, you know, I used to be up at 4:30 in the morning for 20 years, for real. And I'm like, how in the hell did I do that? Right. And, you know, another gig, and, you know, I did both jobs after grad school and everything, and how that, you know, how that worked. I don't know how it did it. Now I'm not a morning person. Now I'm not a night person. I'm somewhere in between, but I get up in the morning, I'm freaking walking like a zombie. Right. So maybe that is, you know, some people That would be a pet peeve. Oh my God, my partner's all cheery, ready to go, wants to run a marathon as soon as he or she hops out of bed like this. And you're like, oh my God, maybe that's a pet peeve. Maybe that's not too annoying to you, but I'd love to hear other pet peeves and what goes on with you. And, we can get into some gross situations and look at those avenues. Maybe someone picks their toe jam out in front of you in the living room or in the bedroom right before bed. So that's gross, right? Type of thing. Or, what about hygiene pet peeves, right? Some people have hygiene elements to where, maybe they don't shower for 2 or 3 days. Maybe they, and there's no reason, it's not that you had surgery and you can't shower. It's just you choose not to. What other hygiene aspects, or grooming aspects? I hear this a lot from a lot of people. Oh my God, they walk in the bathroom and the toilet's not flushed after you do your business. Or, a lot of guys, I'm a guy and I think it's gross that you pee all over the place in the seat and your aim is off and you don't clean up after yourself. That's just gross, So that type of little situation, those pet peeves are looking at, or like I said earlier, do you happen to look at your own pet peeves and are you able to look at, yeah, I know I do this and it's annoying. Maybe you pick food out of your teeth with your fingernails, that type of situation in front of everybody. Some people might not care. Another one might think, oh, it's gross, annoying. You know what? I don't want to see that. Or some people floss their teeth in front of everybody. Again, it is, it's not right or wrong. It's looking at what annoys you. Okay. And another one looks at, men that don't clean up their shaved hairs that are all over the sink right after I cleaned it. Now, what about this one too, Amanda? Not only, men cleaning up their shaved hairs. What about women and, cleaning up their hair in the drain in the shower after they shaved? Or, their hair, women's hair falls out. Mine fell out, as people know, a long time ago. I was like 19 years old type of thing, So, that they don't clean your hair up, it clogs the drain. And guess who fixes the drain? Most men. Not to be stereotypical, right? So we look at these situations and, looking at the elements to, that it goes into this situation. And maybe you're one that your pet peeve about your partner is one that you do the same thing. And, I don't do that. I don't do that. And that you don't own it. Maybe a pet peeve is the personality characteristics, was mentioned, Amanda mentioned earlier, that let's face it, how do we, that you pick apart your partner, a pet peeve, but you do the same thing and it's sort of justified or it's okay for you to do it when, it's same thing your partner does. It drives them crazy. Okay. What other pet peeves are out there? I'd love to hear it. And, what really is a deal breaker for you? You will not live with somebody or be with someone that does did. What about, something gross that, you have partners or whatever that love to pop pimples on you? And get away, and they love it. It's like a fetish, right? They're obsessed with it. And you're like, oh my God, that's gross. Get away from me. So there's so many pet peeves out there that people can talk about. And you look at those situations and looking at not only that, what about mannerisms? What about personality aspects to look at those elements about when you are with people? Maybe some people are, their social skills are maybe lacking, or maybe because of insecurities or being shy or fears, that type of thing about being around other people and fear of being judged. So you look at the situation to where, maybe it's a pet peeve because they're nervous or, that type of situation where they can't really help it, but it still drives you nuts. Maybe some people act a certain way around certain people, family members, whatever. But then when they're around you at home behind closed doors, they act differently. I hear this all the time, that a lot of people will, everybody loves him or everybody loves her, Greg. But oh my God, they're a different person in front of everybody else than they are at home. The reality is at home. So that can be a huge pet peeve, and that could be a huge deal breaker because you wonder if those people just act that way because of you? Or are they being fake with everybody else? A pet peeve of mine is people being fake. Okay. I mean, we all have pet peeves. People that are fake, people that are arrogant, people that think people, whatever, say, servers, wait staff are a lot less than them. That type of situation. That's a huge pet peeve of mine. You look at those situations, even going back to in social situations, is a pet peeve that you feel like, your partner in a social situation around family, a party, wedding, whatever, all of a sudden they're gone and you don't see them until it's time to go home. And it's like, who'd I come here with? I thought I came here with somebody, but they're gone and they ghost you during that event. So there is a lot of situations that look at, that are pet peeves. And are you able to talk to that person, or is it just who they are? Are pet peeves, are they something that can be worked on and sort of evolved and sort of lessened? Or is it something that, they can't do anything about? Maybe some people, let's face it, right? Some women have a pet peeve about short dudes, right? I'm short, so I'm like, stay away from me, right? I don't, you got a pet peeve. I respect it. I get it. Oh, well, get away from me. I don't care. A lack of confidence can be a pet peeve as well. And, looking at all those situations as I type a comment to everybody, in the comment box. Like I said, you can please join in the chat down below, and I'd love for you to be able to, throw your comments out there. What are pet peeves about you? I will not tolerate dingleberries. That's just gross. So we will look at these situations and love to hear about you. What about household pet peeves that sort of, drive you nuts? Leaving dirty dishes in the sink without them rinsed off. I have a pet peeve where, maybe someone puts a pot of water or, dirty pot, and then they throw all the other dirty stuff in there and it's all gross, that type of situation. Maybe it's about, you have dishes in the sink and you don't put them in the dishwasher when the dishwasher is empty. It could be laundry pet peeves, right? Maybe somebody's pet peeves is looking at the situation to where, excuse me, that, people might turn shirts inside out to washing because they have logos or, screen printing or something on their shirt. So they turn them inside out so they don't get ruined wash. And then someone goes to fold them. Screw you. I hate you turning your shirts inside out. Where one thing serves a purpose for you, but for your partner, it just drives them nuts, right? My thing is, if you don't like it, you know what? Just fold them inside out. Let them, no big deal. So, there's a lot of other pet peeves out there that drive people mad. I love, what are yours? Are you able, maybe more importantly, are you able to talk to your partner about these pet peeves? And some run a lot deeper than others. Okay. It could be a bunch of stuff. You empty the trash and you never, put a trash bag in it. These are, little everyday things I hear complaints about from couples that might be pet peeves, and some run deeper than others. What about the deeper pet peeves about how you handle disagreements? Do you have a pet peeve because your partner never can talk about deep issues or talk about complaints that are going on in the relationship, or how one of you feels disconnected, and you, or maybe your partner, there's a pet peeve, they can't talk to you about it. And it drives us nuts. Me, I'm very deep. I love deep intellectual conversations. I also love to be a smart ass joking around a lot, right? But when it comes to issues in a relationship, I'm all about, being able to talk about the issues, not getting defensive, but hearing each other. And it could be a pet peeve where that doesn't happen in a relationship. And you feel, not only is it a pet peeve, that could be a deal breaker for a lot of people. So you look at, is a pet peeve, is it deep enough? Is it severe enough to be a deal breaker in a relationship or not? Some are, some not. It could be, the old adage about picking up after yourself. Everybody bashes men for leaving their dirty underwear, socks all over the place. I know a lot of men, their pet peeve is that their lady doesn't pick up after herself. Dirty clothes are all over the place. Everybody assumes, maybe that's a pet peeve of mine too, that everybody assumes all men are like this, all women are like this. And they assume that, you have women bashing men for doing this, and men are bashing women for all women are doing that. That's a huge pet peeve of mine. I love to look at the individual. There we go. An individual. How are you as an individual woman? How are you as an individual man? Or how are you as an individual, period? Or however you identify yourself, instead of getting away from stereotypes that can cause more problems. Oh yeah, all you women are like this, all you men are like this, right? How many people have been guilty of that? Let's be honest, right? So that is another pet peeve of mine as well. So are you able to own what you do, what annoys your partner? Or maybe it's a pet peeve, you think everything's fine and your partner doesn't tell you, and all of a sudden a year later, 2 years later, 6 months later, oh my God, you drive me nuts when you do this. And they're like, what? What the hell? What? Why are you mad? Why you yell? How come you didn't bring this up to me, at the beginning or when you first saw me do it? Because I didn't care at the beginning. Now it drives me. I thought it would go away or it would be different. So a pet peeve could also be talking about, having a hard time bringing up stuff that annoys us, that are our pet peeves with our partner. Okay. My issues are deeper, though. I forget. I have items. If I can't see them visually, trauma responses. And this is a big difference. Is it a pet peeve or is it a trauma response? Is it a trigger type aspect? And it can be that situation, a trauma response or a trigger. How we respond to people. Do we get defensive? Do we start yelling back, fighting back? Or some people shut down and never want to engage in a deeper conversation. And, I look at that, is it a trauma response or is it actually a pet peeve, a personality type situation, a habit, if you will? And I tell people all the time, no one's responsible for my own triggers, trauma triggers, that type of situation, but we can be compassionate and empathic and understanding about them, but that doesn't mean that other people need to be responsible for their own triggers. Okay. But, looking at them, is it a trauma response and are we getting help to deal with that? Or is it a pet peeve that's just who we are? It could be, a pet peeve, how we're raised, how we fold towels, right? Somebody folds bath towels, tri-folds. Some people fold them in quarters. And they argue, I was raised this way, and this is how we do it. It's a pet peeve how we fold clothes. I mentioned that earlier about, laundry, dirty dishes in the sink, that type of situation. And it's not the right or wrong. It's looking at, man, it just drives me nuts when you do this. Okay, maybe I can work on that. Oh, yeah. And it turns into a pet peeve, right? Or a tit for tat. Oh, yeah. Well, it drives me nuts when you do that. And it turns into a competition instead of saying, you know what? I know, let me try to work on this. Okay. Let me, chew when I'm, chew. There we go again, right? I flip over my tongue. That could be a pet peeve for a lot of people out there. I trip over my tongue, right? That we, chew with our mouth open. There we go. Full of food. There we go. That type of thing. And, maybe we don't even realize we're doing it. And then we get defensive, right? Oh, no, let me work on that. I'm sorry. Let me try to work on this. Are we able to own that? What drives our partner nuts in their pet peeves about us? And can we look at that? Can we work on those aspects? Or do we always fight back and go into a tit for tat, which again, that could be a pet peeve for me. Are you able to look at, yeah, I can work on it. Yeah, I get you, Greg, or I get you. I understand that. Let me try to do that instead of just shutting down, or it turns into this and, well, you do this, you do that. And it's like, here we go again, right? Get away from that tit for tat and look at those pet peeves. Now, I want to go into, I usually don't have notes, but I took a little notes for this episode. Little, just little words. I don't even freaking write a script, not at all for any show. But do you look at the situation to what are your pet peeves sexually? What are your sexual pet peeves? And we, again, could talk about hygiene aspects, right? Or, are there certain sounds you make sexually or your partner makes sexually that it's like, oh my God, what a turn off, right? Maybe there's sounds that's a turn on, right? That wouldn't be a pet peeve then, right? Usually pet peeves sort of drive us nuts. They annoy us. They, they just disturb us in a certain way. So are there certain noises during sex that your partner makes that you're like, oh my God, drive you, or mannerisms or noises or sounds? What about, verbalizations that go on the situation to where, some people talk, during sex. Oh my God, don't even talk. That drives me nuts, right? Don't tell me you love me. You think I'm sexy, hot. Oh my God, you hit the right spot. Oh my God, you're a stud. Oh my God, you're the best I've ever had. Or some people don't even talk during sex. It distracts me, right? Everybody is different. Maybe some people, love it, talk dirty to me. And even saying, that's a pet peeve for them. Oh, don't, during sex, I can't even talk dirty. I'm in the mindset, right? Maybe you look in a situation where, as Amanda just said, conceited, inexperienced, right? They think they're all that. And they're, sort of making, they're moving their head all the way around, think they're doing great sexually. And their partner's like, oh, is that a pet peeve that you think your partner is good? But my question is, are you also cluing your partner in? They're not as good as they think they are, right? Or a sexual pet peeve. Maybe they don't want to learn. Maybe they don't even care, right? Another pet peeve a lot of people talk about is, after sex, and I'm not talking a booty call, that type of thing, but I'm even in a booty call type of thing, that why can't you cuddle or connect when you are finished, when you're done, right? People just get up, wash off it. Okay, that's it. That it just feels like it's a rip from that intimate connection, even if it's a hookup, that type of situation. So a pet peeve could be that there's no touching, no cuddling, no, what about no kissing during sex? That's a pet peeve for a lot of people as well. Greg, he doesn't want to kiss me, or she doesn't want to kiss me during sex. And there's hygiene issues again with sex. Are you out, you run freaking 10 miles, you're all sweaty. Some people could be turned on by that. And some people could, maybe their freaking testicles smell like 100-year-old dirty wet socks and 100-degree, 100 humidity day out there, right? So, hygiene could be important for a lot of people. So, oh, man, you mentioned, okay, do not hold or pull on ears during fellatio. What about, do you want your hair petted, or do you want to just sit back and want the guy during fellatio? Oh, no, I'm enjoying this, and not touch you at all. Again, everybody has their own pet peeves. It is not a right or wrong situation. It's learning about them, learning about, your partner's pet peeves, what you do that drives them wild and not in a good way. And also learning about, is your partner willing about learning about their pet peeves, that situation, What about the pet peeve? You're done with sex and your partner goes, oh, thank you. What? like you're, a hostess or, a host, that type of situation. Thank you. What? That situation. Maybe it's, a pet peeve. I'm okay walking naked around the house, right? That type of situation. And your partner is annoyed by that because of their own insecurities, or they think it's disrespectful. Now, I'm not talking when you have kids in the house. No, you don't want to freak them out. I'm talking when you two are alone, or you're alone walking naked in the house. I love it. I love, a partner that's able to be okay and walk naked throughout the house and own their stuff, right? Confidence, that type of situation. Or some people, maybe it's annoying that your partner doesn't walk naked in the house. So there are so many things that are, pet peeves from people, not only, emotionally, physically, verbally, but also sexually, that type of situation, right? Maybe you think your partner is doing such a great job and they're, watching a porno. Oh, I'm going to do this and you're going to love it. You're going to love it. And you tell them, no, I don't love it. And they keep doing it, right? So there's so many sexual pet peeves out there and come into all aspects of a relationship. that type of certain situation. Maybe a pet peeve is shyness, or let's face it, selfishness. Sexual selfishness not only is a pet peeve, let's face it, that is going to destroy a relationship in most cases, right? So, like I said, pet peeves, sexual pet peeves, can also turn into annoyances that turn us off, turn our partners off, and to be able to go after those situations. So, be able to learn from that. And I'm all about, one person mentioned that porn equals non-educational. I'm also looking at porn can be educational. So I get, but it's looking at the nuances that, the camera angles, not all guys are hung like 14 inches. Not all women like those poses, or men don't like certain poses. It can hurt. It can be uncomfortable. So you look at, with porn, I think it can be educational, looking at what does not work for you, or also maybe what you would like to try to find out if you like it. So I look at, it can be educational, that type of situation. Are there pet peeves sexually with body insecurities, self-consciousness? You think your partner's beautiful, hot, sexy, but they don't, and they cover up. They don't want you to see them naked, that type of situation. So there's so many pet peeves out there. Number one, what are you doing to work on your pet peeves that drive your partner nuts, okay? That sort of make them annoyed by you? And also, where are, as your partner, are you able to look at your own pet peeves and talk about these? Oh, it really drives me nuts when you do this. Well, that's just who I am, right? Maybe those people that are flexible, that bite their toenails, right? Ugh. Those type of situations, okay? So you be able to look at, your pet peeves, have fun, even joke around with each other. Oh yeah, you know what? This really drives me nuts. And you can laugh and own what you do instead of getting defensive. Oh, you know what? Let me work on this avenue. And if, there's certain things, like I said, pet peeves with short people, I can't, I wish I could be 6 foot tall. I can't. Okay. So it's like, deal with it, or oh, well, I'm confident enough. Maybe some women don't like bald hair, right? Maybe some guys are, a pet peeve. They don't like women with short hair, or some guys don't like long hair. Everybody has their own pet peeves, but is it a deal breaker, or is it one of those things, I get annoyed, but that's just them? We all have stuff we don't like about our partners, past, present, that situation, but doesn't mean it's a bad relationship. Little things, no. Severe things, maybe it can really break apart a relationship and definitely decrease the, ability to turn each other on emotionally and sexually, of course. Okay. So, have some fun with it. Learn each other's pet peeves. And maybe a pet peeve of yours is that you have a hard time hearing your partner's pet peeves about you. Own it. Be more confident and have some fun with it. Okay. Always check out theartofrelationships.org. That's my website. Follow me, Facebook, Detroit's Love Guru. Follow me, like the page on YouTube as well. And also, for a few laughs, check out IHatePeople.club. And for those people out there that are going through maybe some accidents, family difficulties, custody battles, check out DFWNPLC.com, people. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. As always, peace and love to everybody out there. Check out the Art of Relationship show every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern time. Take care, everybody.